Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magdala, to our series of the women of the Gospel as we approach Christmas and want to encounter the baby Jesus. Today, he introduces another of the women that he called in the Gospel to a special moment with him. Today we are here at Magdala, as I said, and we are going to follow this amazing woman as she has the most powerful experience with Jesus, one that we would all love to have. So we're going to begin by looking out to the Sea of Galilee. So out here we have the Sea of Galilee, and back in the day the sea came all the way in to where we are now, to this ruin that you see below of the port. That is the port wall, that thick wall at the end running parallel to the sea. The boats would come in all the way here. Now, over 2,000 years there has been a build-up of 2 meters of earth from the ground level to the top level where we see it today. If those 2 meters were taken away, I think perhaps the water would come all the way in here, very thin, but it would still come in all the way here to the port. So that's kind of exciting. And we're beginning the rainy season, so by the end of the rainy season, back in the day, you could imagine the boats coming right in here to the port. Now, how do we know that this is the port wall? Well, simply because on this wall were found 2 mooring stones, one complete and one that was broken. On this other side of the pathway, you see a continuation of the port wall running north-south again, and actually it continues all the way down through the Franciscan property next door to us and probably through the public beach that's after that. It was a very big port. Flavius Josephus says he counted 270 some boats out there at the time of the revolt. So this port was a big one, and as you also know, a place where they salted fish, so the fishermen would come in here. Also a great place to come to ride across to the other side. Instead of walking around the lake, if you came here and took a boat and the wind blows in the sails in the afternoon in that direction, you would be across in a matter of half an hour or something like that. Anyway, here we are, and I want you to now step back into the story. Jesus is coming in the boat. So imagine you're a child playing on the shore with your friends, and you hear the cry go up, "Jesus is coming!" What do? You run. You run very fast, and maybe you drop by the house of your aunt or someone and say, "Jesus is coming, why don't you come? Maybe he will cure you." People knew that Jesus healed, and so he gets off the boat, and a huge crowd is gathering in a matter of minutes. There are so many people, it's hard to even make your way through that crowd. Maybe children can get down. They're very short and little, and they can slip in between people. But there is one man running down here, and that's Jairus. We will talk about his wife tomorrow. Well, he's trying to get hold of Jesus to ask him a huge favor because his daughter is very ill, dying actually. And so he begs Jesus, "Come, lay your hands on her that she be well and live." And Jesus said, "I will go with you." And off they go, coming, you can imagine, along a path like this. Now, we don't know where this story took place. Perhaps it was here in Magdala. Perhaps it was in another town, but it has to have been between here and Tabgha or Capernaum up north at the latest. That's the extent of the possibility, because Jesus was actually on the other side in the pagan territory, working over there, healing and ministering to people. Then he got in the boat and crossed to the other side. So here is the other side. And welcome to wherever Jesus was. We're going to jump in as if it were right here, seeing that we don't know exactly where. But we can imagine the boat coming into port and the crowd around Jesus. And now we all want to go to Jairus' house. So let's go. Let's go to Jairus' house. And people are coming along. Now let these ruins come alive for you and build up into little shops, perhaps, at the marketplace by the harbour. Maybe you sell sandwiches for the fishermen who are coming in. Who knows? Maybe these little tanks down here are for washing the fish, for storing the fish. We don't know. We had wells all over the town, and there's one more there. Now, so you're walking with Jesus, and then suddenly there is a strange thing happens. A woman has reached out to touch his mantle, unknown to everyone else. And Jesus stops and says, "Who touched me?" And they say, "Jesus, so many people, you're crazy. It's just so crowded. Why would you ask such a question?" He says, "Power went out of me. Who touched me?" So she comes out and tells her story. What a story she has to tell. 12 years sick, went to all the doctors, spent all her money. She's just getting worse and worse. And now, finally, she has touched the mantle and she feels in her body that she's healed. And, whoa, everybody's amazed at the daring courage of this woman who's considered impure, not supposed to be out in public, much less touch anybody because she makes them impure automatically. Much less a rabbi, that's real serious. Unless it's a family member. And Jesus says, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be healed of your infirmity." Here are the very stones that were in the pathway 2,000 years ago in this place in Magdala. There's a road going from here through Tiberias, possibly. And this road was found here, and actually some of these stones were replaced here to make this yard, this space. But over here you'll see the actual first stones under the little bridge where I just came down under that ramp. Those stones are the actual original ones in their original spot. And that road went right through this wall. And now we're going to go inside and we will see how this curved wall here actually has a beautiful painting. Some of you have seen it already. So we are going to head inside and have a moment with this beautiful, beautiful oil painting by Daniel Cariola. So we continue our walk with this lady. We want to be close to Jesus too. And she leads us. We continue inside. And inside this building, we have a little bit of wooden floor here, but we continue with the stones. The very stones of the first century town. Right here on the floor. And we're now inside Duc an Altum on the ground floor. And we have this beautiful chapel here. Just going to walk in. Just walk like as if you're with that crowd. And Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be healed of your infirmity." What an amazing moment. And here we are. So now we're going to sit down in this beautiful space that has been created especially to be like the synagogue. We saw that the other day, and this is just reproducing the first century synagogue style in this room. Sometimes we have big crowds in here, and it's a beautiful place to stop and to pray. Some people come back here and just spend time, like someone is writing there, this is my favorite chapel. Yes, a beautiful place to be. Well, this woman, let's suppose, comes here, back to the spot where she was healed, let's suppose. And she invites you to sit with her here on this stone bench from the 1st century. These are actual stones from the 1st century, so I'm going to sit down here now. And you will also sit here. And we're sitting with this beautiful lady. And she wants to tell you something. And you ask her, what did you feel that day? How was it you went there? And she will say to you, and there's actually a story about this. Recently we were at Caesarea Philippi, probably a week ago, and they have discovered a new ruin of a Byzantine, possibly church, or at least a grotto, a place of prayer, possibly, with mosaic on the floor from that period. And right by where, before their time, the god Pan of the Greek gods was venerated in that spot. And then in the Byzantine era, it became a chapel. And also in that same space of Caesarea Philippi, there's another ancient ruin. And there, a note from Eusebius from the 300s. And he had said that when he went there, he found the chapel where there was a bronze image of the woman touching Jesus' mantle, because she was from that town. That's what they explained to him. So this woman, imagine if she lived north of here, it took us 55 minutes to get there when we drove there the other day. Well, walking, that would take quite a while. You know, a few days maybe for her to come all the way south to the Galilee in order to meet Jesus. Well, keep that in mind, just so you understand that there's actually that historical dig that helps us to understand a little bit more. Well, you're sitting here with your friend, this woman, and she says to you, yes, I was up in Caesarea Philippi, and I heard that Jesus was curing people, and I thought, I want to go there. I want to experience that healing. Because I had been 12 years sick. You know what it is to be sick for 12 years? People already had given up, but I didn't. I searched and searched. I knew it wasn't what should be in my life. I really, really wanted to be better so I could be with my family. Because, see, you might not know this, but being impure in my time meant that I could not go to family gatherings, nor to the synagogue, nor to the marketplace, not even to the local well to get water with the rest of the women, because everybody I touched would get impure. And so I lived very isolated and alone. Have you ever felt like that? And she would say, well, I want you to understand the amount of pain that was accumulated over so many years. And then I thought to myself, you know, the doctors told me there's nothing more they can do. I actually spent all my money going from one to the other and never could get any progress. Well, I thought to myself, I felt in my heart, it must have been God's Spirit stirring up inside me. Go, touch the hem of his garment. And so I came all the way. I walked. Part of the way, someone lent me a donkey because they knew I was sick. I had no money, but sometimes people gave me something to eat. And finally I arrived at Galilee. And when I heard the cry that day, Jesus is coming, in the boat, oh, I went as fast as I could, even though I was exhausted, even though I felt so weak, about to faint. I thought, I have to. This is my chance. I must go and touch the hem of his garment. And so I want to show you what this is like. You must step into my shoes so you understand my special moment with Jesus. I'm walking along. I know I cannot touch him, but I am content to touch the hem of his garment. So I reached out and I touched the spot where he could give me the healing that I so needed. And he did it. Immediately I felt healing rush through my body. I was strengthened. I was strong. Whoa. But then the silence was broken, or rather all the buzzing noise, with the loud voice of Jesus saying, "Who touched me?" Whoa, I thought, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have touched a rabbi when I'm impure, but I had to. So I came trembling before him and knelt and said my whole story. And then I looked up, and his beautiful eyes gazing right into my very heart and soul. And he said to me, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be healed of your infirmity." Each one of those words was sealed into my heart. Daughter. Now I have a name. To Jesus, I am daughter. Nobody else has this name in the whole gospel except me. And he loves you too in a very personal way. One day, you too will look into his eyes and he will call you by your name, the name he has for you. That you in your heart will know that it is infinite love that gives you your true name. And in that touch, I was healed. Now we're all invited to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. Lord, I too need your healing. Maybe I'm broken in relationships. Maybe I'm wounded because of something in the past. Maybe I'm hurting because I'm trying to fight all alone with pride and I'm not letting anyone help me. Maybe there's a pain that only he knows about it. Maybe I'm worried about the future. Maybe there's something really that's burdening my conscience. Lord, heal me. You can do it. And he will say, daughter, son, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be healed of your infirmity. And we can say this prayer for a friend who is sick. We can say it now from our heart for a relative, for our broken world, for so many areas of society that are wounded and broken and needy. Lord, heal us. I want to touch the hem of your garment today. Heal me, Jesus. God bless you.